You guys, I'm so excited here. I have the queen of all the queens in the world and someone that's helped me so much in my business and has been such a great coach, such a great friend, such a great mentor. And just a reminder that being around the right people can make all the difference in your life. So I want to welcome Lissy.
Hi,
And hi, I'm so excited to have you. How are you?
I'm so glad to be here. I'm so good. I'm in the best mood today. Thank you.
Good. And we're both in really good moods and it's Monday because we're living our authentic dreams and we're helping a lot of people and we're excited to have this conversation about a lot of things. And you're on a podcast about sales and business, but we have some great dialogue to fill you in on and I can't wait to have these conversations and help you. So, before we get into this, I want you to tell people a little bit about you, just like a elevator pitch, like
Okay.
what you do in your business, how did you get there, and just a little something something.
Don't you feel like every time you do this, your brain goes into like, what is it? Like like every time you have that freak out. So
Totally.
I'm Liz. I'm a mum of three. I'm a single mum of three. I am a six-figure business mentor, and my sort of whole thing is wealth energetics. So I do like 80% of the work on the business owner behind the business and 20% of strategy. So simplifying their business down, making it run more effectively, bits like social media, high converting marketing, but just keeping things simple because everything had to be simple for me as a mum of three. The
Mhm.
only way I ever got anywhere was by taking messy, imperfect, authentic action, really. So yeah, I'm really big on energetics and embodiment. So that real like co-creation with your future self, embodying the version of you that already has it from a very deep level.
Mhm.
Subconscious mind. I've got a really varied background. I'm an ex-national award-winning makeup artist, and I had a big makeup business. And then when I came on my own with my three kids, I'd had like one of my biggest spiritual awakenings just before that time anyway, which is why I was on my own with them and had made that move. But I just really came to that big pivot point in the road, where I never thought that was a career I'd ever give up. I always thought that was it's like every little girl's dream job, right? And I had a studio and it was great. And I just woke up increasingly to the fact that that business didn't work for me anymore and had some big success in product sales, online sales, network marketing, bits like that, trying to create an income for myself where it didn't require my time for money, and then accidentally fell into business coaching and have a podcast. And that's where we are now. And I love it. And I work with clients who are a complete dream. It's a dream come true. I love
Amazing.
it.
Well, thank you for sharing. I think a couple things I want to say is if you're listening to this, we're excited to give you some great shit today, some great shit that
Absolutely.
you can chew on. And I'm so excited to have this conversation with one of the best. And just to kind of lay the groundwork for what we'll be talking about is we want to talk about ways that you can do things that fit your authenticity, your mold, your masculine energy, your feminine energy, how there's a space for both. And then we'll end with a few like little sales and business tips and strategies just to give you some high level stuff to chew on. And I'll tell you one thing that drew me to this woman is her energy. So she says she's an energetics coach, and baby, is she an energetics coach? And I know I bring that energy too. So we're just like two peas in a pod. And you know, if I was straight, I'd be flying over to take her out on a date. I don't know though. Kids though, kind of. I don't know if I could do kids. So
Don't take it on. They're a lot.
I know. I think we're good. We're good as friends and
Absolutely.
co.
And like right
Yeah.
back at you. And like we're one of those relationships, like obviously we've never met in person because we're across the pond, but that is changing soon.
Yes.
But I feel like I've known you for a longer
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Definitely one of those connections where I'm like, this isn't new. This isn't the first time.
Yeah. I think so. That's actually, let's lead that into the first point is
Mhm.
authenticity. Um,
Yes.
because what she says is so true. And if you're listening to this and you're scared to be authentic, you're scared to be visible, you're scared to show yourself, we want to encourage you to do that because when you are, you attract the right people. And I remember the first time me and Lissy connected is I was in my pink room with the pink light on talking about just the fucking world and life perspective. And she leaves this comment like, I love you. I'm obsessed with you. So I'm like, who is this girl? So we started connecting there, but it's because when you're authentic, you just draw in the right stuff. So what's your take, Lissy, on just embracing authenticity and how energy, if you're listening to this for sales or business, how energy and authenticity is like fucking superpower. It's like magical.
100%. So as you know, I coach with the three energies because
Yeah.
so everyone seems to leave the third one out. And your three energies is your feminine, masculine, and sexual energy. And your sexual energy is where you attract. Yeah. Like that's
Yeah.
like all of us. And like in a different way for a different day and a different time and different person. But authenticity is like the most vulnerable thing that we can do. And actually, I'm obsessed with understanding sexual energy and how it pertains to business. Not that that's what you asked, but
Hmm.
because when we're in our most sexually receiving state, we are at our highest level of vulnerability. Okay. So
Hmm.
just to lower
Hmm.
the tone of your podcast to that, like even, to receive pleasure, you have to be at your most vulnerable because you are like receptive. And especially in a world which is suffering from so much disconnection,
Yeah.
smoke and mirrors, AI, like all of these things, which are great in their own right. Your superpower is your authenticity, but at the same time,
Yeah.
same yin yang balance, it will be the scariest thing that you ever do, especially if you've built a brand which isn't based on authenticity. And it might feel like the first time you've really shown
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
And ironically, I think the thing that I discovered from a young age and my sort of early journey on social media was the more authentic I was, the more raw, the more vulnerable, and the more just I laid myself out, the easier it was to attract because it took so much less
Yeah.
for people to connect, and that's what they
Yeah.
want,
Yeah.
you know?
I totally feel that. It reminds me of the saying too of, when you think of social media and technology and being so connected but disconnected, it's like you're getting in so many like empty calories. You're not
Yes.
getting in the actual like human connection people actually crave. And this weekend I went out with a girlfriend. I don't like to get out much, but I did because I need to, it's part of the introvert life.
Well done.
We were talking about sexual energy and the
Yes.
powers of it. We were talking about Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I almost said Napoleon Dynamite, goddamn. Napoleon Hill. And there's a lot of power in that. And she actually asked me a question too about putting yourself out there. And she goes, "Do you ever get scared to put yourself out there?" And I said, I used to, but not anymore. And I'll tell you why. When I put myself out there genuinely, authentically, it leads to relationships and connections like me and Lissy have. It
Hmm.
leads to people working with me in my business that are fucking amazing. Like we're on the same wavelength and same vibe. And you know what else it does? It repels the shit you don't want.
Yes.
So that's something that's really important is when you put yourself out there, if people are bothered by that, you don't want that in your life anyways. It's
Yeah.
doing you a solid. It's doing you a favor. So that's my 2 cents on that. This sexual energy though, let's talk about it.
I'm obsessed, in fact, and
Oh,
also couldn't agree more. Like your offers, your marketing, everything in your business should repel as much as it attracts. Like if someone has a problem in their business where they've got clients that they secretly are like, oh, they're
yeah.
heavy,
Yeah.
like you're going to surface level yourself because
Totally.
like it just doesn't happen. And the other thing I just want to say on that actually is like I've also found like I had this slight worry, like the more my business scales, will I be able to apply less humanness in the smallest sense of like, I go above and beyond for my clients. Like, and I was like, will I have a problem with that one day, or do I need to like almost be less human in my approach? And I've just never found that. I have never had someone want a refund or something go wrong because yeah, you just don't get the wrong people.
Yeah.
But the sexual energy, your whole relationship with your own sexual energy pertains to every element of abundance in your life. So money is just a form of abundance, same as air, same as food. It's a resource. It's like an abundance of love, an abundance of support, an abundance of connection. Like money is just the same thing. And sexual energy is exactly that. It's an
Yeah.
abundance of pleasure and spice and fire and electricity, like hunger for life. And
Yeah.
so many of us miss that. So many generic business moves miss that. And it is like the ingredient that it's like the chili emoji. It sets everything on fire and it's so
Spicy,
easy.
baby. Spicy. I love that. I think it's all when you tap into the energetics that can actually change your life. I think it's so powerful, and that's really what drew me to her. I feel like me and her are so similar. I'm just male and she's female, but we both operate a little bit differently, which brings me into the next topic of masculine and feminine energy. And I think about
Mhm.
myself having such a great skill in that and really honing into the things she just talked about, the sexual energy, but also my masculine and feminine energy. And that's what made me really successful in my corporate job and coaching people in sales because I'm so good at here's the plan. Let's like, it's like tough love. Like, here's the plan. Let's do it. And then also like, oh, someone's freak. Let's, okay, calm down. Let's take a step back. Practice
Mm.
that slower, compassionate, empathetic energy as well. And it's done it's made me a lot of money and because I'm so good at it and I believe in it. I believe in leading your life like that. I don't like to do one or the other. I think there's a place for both. how do you
Agree.
how do you navigate through this type of stuff, and what's your feedback on someone that could tap into that, like help them?
Okay, so I mean, I was going to ask you a question, so I would
Of
ask them
course.
that same question, and then you could actually answer on yours as well. But like, you know, have you ever got stuck in one or the other being your masculine and feminine because you're a guy,
Yeah.
and so that's a different
Yeah.
experience. But for me, my relationship with it was I realized I'd always been stuck in my masculine. And, that's probably always the way my cookie will crumble.
Yeah.
So, awareness of that. And for anyone that's brand new to that kind of thing, that was like basically fight or flight.
Yeah.
So, go, 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 couldn't stop, constant adrenaline. And that's really normal when you've been through a lot of trauma through your lifespan. I was a carer as a child. And also, I became a single mum at 21, had domestic violence, and then a single mum again at 28 of three. So as a woman, I was thrust into provider, I was thrust into stress. So it's only natural for yourself to go into like, right, I am the leader of the pack. And then
Yeah.
I didn't know about this at the time, but that in itself nearly killed me.
Yeah.
And actually the funniest part about being stuck in your masculine, especially as a woman, is the idea of a bit same as men, because I work with men, but like there's the idea of anything slower. So basically, the idea of the antidote, which is
Hmm.
something slower, something more nurturing, resting, stopping, is repulsive. Like the adrenaline will be like the idea of journaling or meditating or stopping or putting my phone down makes me want to vom. Like it's the
Yeah.
last thing you want to do. But healing my relationship with my feminine, I actually took a fallow year, was absolutely life-changing because I realized it was my superpower. And not
Yeah.
because your feminine is your superpower, but because having your finger ready to press the button on both, knowing how to instigate each one at any time, balance them through your day and your week,
Yeah.
makes you fully nourished,
Totally.
and optimized
I
ultimately.
think when I hear your, thank you for sharing. I resonate with a lot of that, and I think for me, and what I want to point out with this is, I think it's easy to get caught up in the masculine if you have a job and you're in corporate
Mm,
because that's so dominated by masculine energy. Go go go, alpha alpha alpha. You got to keep
mm,
up with the boys. I noticed when I was in my corporate job, it was nice too because I'm gay and I was part of the boys club, and so I'm like grinding, but when I'm coaching, I kind of tap into both of those energies because it's who I'm talking to that needs it. But I think when I left my job, I was able to really own both and operate from both. And I'm learning how to navigate that and reframe how I think too. Like, I don't have to grind like that to make a great living. Like it's a story
no.
we tell ourselves that we have to work out of.
And did you ever like when did you even like learn about the feminine energy?
Um, I didn't really learn about it. It's been brought up to me by people.
Right.
And so that got me interested to learning more. Um,
After your corporate or before you left?
after.
After, yeah. Mm.
It was brought up during, but it was worded so differently. It wasn't worded like that. Like in corporate, and my team called me mama.
Okay. Just straight
So
to the point.
yeah, they're not
Right.
like masculine, feminine energy. They called me mama because I led
Okay.
with care and
Okay.
empowerment, but also drive and like let's get shit done. So it started there. And then after is when I've had several friends, several people I trust that are in this space that have brought it up and really said it was one of my superpowers, which I
Mm.
agree.
So did you always have a balance, do you think, to a degree? Because I just like
No,
had no balance. Like I didn't, I was like
no.
off the
I,
cliff.
when I started in sales, I was more masculine. And when I moved into leadership, I had that masculine energy as well when I moved into management because I felt like you had to be like that. You had to be the boss
Mm.
until
I
I
hear
started
that
to
a lot
do
in
it.
corporate.
And like, I don't want to be a boss. I want to be a leader. I want to be a servant leader. And a servant leader does both.
100%.
So
True leadership, right?
it shifted during my leadership career, but not immediately because I thought I had to be that man, right? Until I
Mhm.
realized like, no, I don't. And
Wow.
that in itself helped me succeed further in my career by backing off of that and embracing
I
who I
know
am.
someone will want to ask you this question. So without us giving a whole masterclass on it, what is the one thing that you would do today if you realized you'd got a bit stuck in the masculine, you'd lost balance, and you knew you needed to instigate your feminine energy? What would you do?
I would turn off everything, go take a bath, and embrace nourishing myself and
Love.
slowing down. I would take a vacation.
Mm,
Um, it was for me, the feminine is about
yeah.
soft, slowing down, and caring. I would call a
Yeah.
friend that probably would be a female
Yeah.
and have a healthy conversation. And what really helps me too, Lissy, is I reflect a lot on the journey of where I'm at and where I've been and where I'm going.
I
So
love doing that too,
yeah,
every day.
like when I'm
The
like, oh my
best.
gosh, I just had a great launch and I'm helping all these people and wow, this is like I'm in a spot where I dreamed of. Let's fucking go, you know? Like I'm so grateful and I think those moments that we have to ourselves are very important.
Me too, because like the moment is now, like it's now, and then it's now, and then it's now. Like it's
Hmm.
constantly passing and it's constantly now, and time is this whole
It's
wild illusion. And if
totally.
you don't, it sounds so cheesy, but like if you don't stop to celebrate every step of the way and also self-reflect, I've gone through phases of my life where I've been much less awake, where like years will
Yeah.
pass, like 5 years will pass. And I'm like, I've just regurgitated a whole lot of shit, but I can't actually say I'm
Yeah.
hugely further ahead. And equally, you can achieve so much and be like, I didn't even celebrate it.
Yeah. You know what's funny is when you say this, what I think about is my journey with starting a business and it's almost been 2 years. And in this 2 years, I did celebrate a lot, but I wish I would have celebrated more because these two
Yeah.
years I got to do whatever the hell I wanted. And
Yeah.
I didn't get to celebrate this journey as much as focusing on what I need to do next.
Yeah.
And that's been a learning lesson for me is like, oh my gosh, 2 years to not have to work for anyone. Most people would dream of that. They can't even take off a week like without like their PTO and shit. It's like I've got to do 2 years how on my terms and I'm not celebrating this every damn day. Shame on me. So that's something that I've learned to embrace as well. Since we have to wrap this up soon, I want to ask a couple questions around sales and
Go
business.
for it. I'm
Let's
actually a little bit more relaxed on time, but go for it. I
okay,
leave
cool,
you
cool. I love that.
to the
We
kids.
love a relaxed vibe.
Yeah.
I'm about to pee my pants, so I don't know how relaxed I am, but I'm fine. You're
It
like,
adds
girl,
to the
you're
excitement
like,
of
I've had 3 babies and my black, like, she's like, you
like,
can
don't
push
risk
through.
it.
I'm going to push through. So I want to talk a little about sales and business. And, you know,
Yes.
sales makes the business world go round. It makes like, I've been really wanting to help people understand the dialogue of sales. And if you're listening to this and you think anything negative about sales, I want to challenge you to reframe it. And something that really helps get my message out there and to help you do that is selling is serving. And you're not only helping people that need you, but you're helping yourself create and build a better life. And people need what you have. They need your
Mhm.
service. They need your offer. Lissy, what do you think in terms of sales? What do you think is like a couple of the most important things that matter the most when it comes to selling? Like selling yourself or selling your product or your service? What's something that's just like, man, this is like non-negotiable, no-brainer, need it in
Okay.
my business.
Top three. I'm going to say them so I don't forget them. Number one, detachment.
Yep.
Number two, passion and like pure in love with the product.
Yep.
And number three, the way that you see and hold yourself. So
Totally.
reception to receive anything in life loves detachment. Like when we detach from love, attraction, money, success, we create this void that it wants to go in. Like if
Yeah.
I chase a guy, they are like, "Eh." Yeah. Even
Ick.
though I might want to, it's like, nah, like we've all been there. So detachment from money, and this is like such a weird just balance as an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. You have to set goals. I meet a lot of people that aren't setting goals every month, and I'm like, no, you
You have
have to
to.
set goals every month, and you have to put a fire under your ass to get to them. But at the same time, you have to like light the fire, light the goals, make the plan, stick to the plan, and then energetically detach from the plan. So I have a phrase which is show up and play to win, and I've had it for years. I don't know where it came from. And it's like I show up and I play to
Hmm.
win. So
Yeah,
I'm giving it my all, like I want to win the game, but at the same time, it's just a game. Like if
totally.
I set a 30 grand month goal, that's cool. I'm winning that game. Like I'm not running a race to not win it. But at the
Totally.
same time, like I couldn't give a fuck if it's zero, you know? So detachment's number one. The second one
Can I
is like,
when I
yeah,
want to add something really quick to detachment before
yes.
you go on. Detachment is so important and something I'm discovering when it comes to selling is people like for me, and I've had to work through this too. So know that this is coming from
Mm.
my perspective and all the people that I've coached and worked with is it's been so much harder for people to sell their own product or
Mm.
service than it is to sell someone else's. I've struggled with that. It was harder for me to sell my own shit than to detach because I'm detached from other people's
Yeah, I get that.
stuff. And when I think of detachment, I think of a lot of things of detachment. I think of detaching from that, like detaching your personal, like taking it personally if they don't want to buy from you, from your product, but also detaching from the outcome. Because if you detach from the outcome, you're going to sell it better because otherwise you come across pushy, needy, desperate, right? So
Yeah.
detachment's
And
so
also,
huge.
you will literally just like pragmatically push people off because I had a conversation today in the DMs actually in my other business. That's a client that I know is going to come in at a certain point later down the year. I just know that that's just right for her, you know? So if I
Yeah.
was focused on any other sales approach, I would probably frighten off and it's not a sale, I want to change her life, you know, I'd probably frighten off that process happening for her at the right time for her because I'd be more attached to. But I agree, and that's my point three is like is your own bullshit, like your own self-beliefs, your own belief system, the way you see yourself. Like there's so much projection. Like passion is just obvious. You need to love what you're selling. But the third one, which is that the way that you lead yourself, the way that you see yourself, like so much projection in entrepreneurs. So what I mean by that is like if someone secretly deep down has a money wound that's like a certain amount of money is greedy and that makes me bad or wrong and that's come from their childhood and their parents saying things like you know implying that money is some kind of limited resource of some
Totally.
kind which obviously isn't, then they constantly are projecting that onto the client. And I am quite firm with this because you know I'm very straight and no bullshit, but like the most selfish thing we can do as entrepreneurs is not be proactively working on and healing our own
Yeah.
stuff, because otherwise you're in a sales conversation, let's call it, you're in a conversation in the DMs with the client. You want to change their life for the product that you know will. But if you're not, if you don't see yourself and that whole process as pure, you're just putting all this noise and shit onto your
Yeah.
client. You
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. That's a really good point is if you're listening to this, you care about development and the journey never stops. You have to constantly develop yourself. And that's how you truly get to that next level. Coaches have coaches, have coaches, have coaches. That's a lifelong thing. The journey's lifelong too. You never stop learning, right?
Don't you think that's like getting, I mean, I don't know if it's just my algorithm, but like I see that getting quite demonized now. Like I see people pushing back on, like, let's talk about this. I see people pushing back on like coaches having coaches and almost as if it's like, you know, like how people used to see network marketing as like a pyramid scheme, which is just
Yeah.
insane. But I
I
feel like that's being implied. And I'm like, yeah, you're really missing the point.
No, I think so. Here's my perspective on all the coaches stuff is I love people going for it. I think not everyone should be trying to coach anyone.
Agree.
I think it is saturated. I think some people should. This is not me being a dick. I know what it takes to coach and what to lead, and it's not made for everyone. Same with entrepreneurship. It's not made for everyone, but having the right coach will change your entire life forever. And I do think there's a time and a place. I don't know how you feel about this, but like sometimes I don't want any more information. I just want to execute.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I have different seasons.
yeah, we have
Yeah.
different
And sometimes
seasons.
I need like sometimes I'm like I just want education and sometimes I'm like I want to be led. And sometimes I just want to, yeah, 100%. I don't
Well,
think
like
there's a
when I
yeah.
started working with you as my coach, I needed to be led. I've been through this for long enough, and I'm like, I need the direction very clear. So there was a time I needed to be led, of course, and then there's a time where I won't be like, and that's normal. It's like a cycle that we all go
Yes.
through, right? Um,
Agree, like a detox as well. You're
a
like, I
detox.
need to just take myself through.
If you were
Yeah.
to, so I want to wrap this up and I want to leave it with this. If you were to leave someone with one piece of the best business advice, sales advice, whatever advice, like your one little thing, what would be? I know this is putting you on the spot and this is a big challenge. So that's why I'm talking right now. So your wheels are turning and you're thinking about it. I'm giving you a little bit of time.
I can handle it.
What would be your
Yeah.
one piece? And I'll return the favor. So you'll do one, I'll do one.
Just give me
What's
one header. Where is that person?
so this person is they think they have they have this dream.
Mm,
They have this business dream that they're either working on or wanting to do.
mm.
And they're ready. They're hungry. They're not fulfilled. They're overwhelmed. They're in the matrix. If you don't know what the matrix
Okay.
is, it's just the way we live. You're waking up, you're feeling really robotic. What would be your one piece of advice to them?
It will always, always feel messy. And it's like a swan, the swan looks beautiful and put together on the outside, and underneath the legs are paddling, and it won't ever not feel and look to you like the feet not paddling, because at this point that I'm currently in my career, it feels very surreal
Yeah.
because I'm like, oh, yeah, I suppose that is where it is and what I've achieved up until this point. And it will always feel messy. You will never find the right time. And everything that you're seeking, like more clarity and more confidence and more know-how and a better plan, will only ever come as the reward from action. So you can only ever take action, but with a lowered expectation of how that should feel.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
amazing. When you started to talk, I literally finished your sentences in my head because I agree. Action is the result, or action's the thing necessary to get what you want and to have clarity and to have the things, the dreams come to life is you have to do shit. And my sentiment, my one thing I would tell someone is if you think about something constantly and you really want it, that thought will never, ever leave your brain or go away until you do something about it. So if you want to do something about it, choose today. And I'll
Yeah.
tell you this on top of that, when you choose it and you go it, it's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it. And every moment that you've gotten to at this point in your life, you've made it through. And we as humans, we do crave something new and fresh and growth. So my advice would be start, go for it. You can always plan B it. Don't have a plan B, but you can always plan B it, but just go for it. Life's too short. I'm not going to be the person at the end of my life that's like saying, I wish I would have done. No, I'm going to do it. And when I do it, you learn a lot, but you become someone so fucking powerful. Like it's very, I can't describe it. That's what I would say.
I love that. It's it's the unfolding, isn't it? And like I
Yeah.
imagine I haven't ever transitioned personally from the corporate world to entrepreneurship. I imagine that is wild. But like also it's just this relief when you let go of like the plan and the
Yeah.
big dream. And like it's always going to evolve. Like the biggest
Yeah.
problem in entrepreneurship is entrepreneurs that don't accept that their business is born to evolve. Your client's going to evolve, your offer
Totally.
evolve. So like your start point doesn't and never will be your end point, but you're not going to see that end point until you're further, there's no end point. The
Yeah.
end point is
You
that's the
gotta,
end.
that's the death, right? And
Yeah.
you have to understand it's not gonna go according to plan. It's not gonna be finished. It's not going to end how you start it, period. But you
Yeah.
won't get to the end, and it's really never going to end until she's on you die, But until you get to the point where you're happy with it, it's not going to look like it did how you start. But you won't get there if you don't start.
And it won't always feel that unsure as well. I think as much as you're always diving into the unknown, I've never lived this week. I've never lived the moves that I'm currently making. I've never lived the new
Yeah,
projects that I start. You bring so much evidence and transferable skill with you that like I really think the bravest people are the ones at the beginning of their journey,
totally.
because I'm like it's always going to be messy,
It's
but
the
like
unknown. The magic's in the unknown. They'll remember that too.
oh, I love this. Well, I love this.
I
Thank you
love
for
you so
having me.
much. Thank you for being on here. And you guys just go for it. Me and Lissy are here to support you. And I just love this conversation. Thank you for being here. And you
Thanks
guys,
for
we
being
believe in
here.
you. I just want to say at the end of this is me and Lissy, we do what we do for you. So we're showing up for you. Show up for yourselves. You deserve it. You can create the life, the business, however you so choose, and go for it.